Hello and a very warm welcome to ET's brand new show, Corner Office Conversation, where we talk to the most interesting Indian and global business leaders.
And today we have a panel of experts from the Indian pharmaceutical industry. Sharvil Patel, Indian Pharmaceutical Alliance Vice President and Managing Director at Zydus Life Sciences, Aman Mehta, the Managing Director at Torrent Pharma, and Namita Thapar, Executive Director, MCure Pharma. A very warm welcome to all of you to this corner office conversation of the ET Morning Brief. Thank you so much for joining us. So today we will have a broad range of discussions on the Indian pharmaceutical industry, where we are headed and what next. So thank you again for this very important discussion. Aman, it has to start with you. Straight out of a very big deal. I know you will have restrictions of how much you can speak, but what are your initial thoughts? Where do you see things headed?
No, I think the excitement is quite high within the family and the company. Looking forward to kind of the process to be completed at the earliest possible, and then getting into the work for the next 1 or 2 years. But definitely very excited.
Right. So building on the foundations that have been done by the generations that have actually built this organization, I'll ask Namita. You have actually spoken a lot about holistic healthcare startups. What do you think is changing when we speak about the Indian pharma industry and how it can serve better?
I think patient centricity has become very big. A lot of collaboration in terms of private-public partnership is happening. IP has played a very big role in that. And also focus on newer therapies, whether it's biologics, stem cell therapy, so more innovation-driven. All of these things are being taken to the next level now. And of course, everyone's favorite word these days, AI. So I think there are a lot of new things happening in pharma, and that's exciting.
Right. You've also honed so many skills and sharpened so many startups in your organization and elsewhere. You really put the bets in the right places. What do you think can be done better?
I know that's my favorite question because on the tank I've got a nickname Pharma, and I love it. But the one thing is, I get very excited when I see healthcare deals coming on the tank. And for the simple reason that I always say the three biggest issues in pharma are the three A's, right? The awareness, the access, and the affordability. And the real India, which is the interiors, we can solve these three issues only if we put the tech in healthcare. And what I get excited about on the tank is I see lots of entrepreneurs trying to disrupt healthcare using technology.
Right.
And so I think the future is very bright, and I see a lot of us we're called the legacy players, collaborating with really, really bright startup founders to create a new healthcare world for India. So it's very, very fascinating and something we are all looking forward to.
Excellent. So Sharvil, to you. The organization which probably was in mid-90s, very small, now it's actually grown multiple fold. It's about 23,000 crore now. The revenue itself, that figure looks very baffling. What changes do you think has made it happen, and what needs to change next?
So, I think it's a question of evolution and also, how we have all as pharma companies come about. So, I think what has happened is India has definitely got a very significant position in the global markets, and I think that is helping companies and also at Zydus also for all of us, because I think as we work on building more technologies on biologics, on vaccines, on NCEs and all of that, I think there's a big opportunity for us to unleash these capabilities. Today, 1 in every second pill dispensed in the US is made in India, 1 in 3 in the Europe. So we have a very large role to play in terms of creating affordable access to healthcare. So I think that's also a very important movement. And I think with the interventions that we are seeing both from the industry, from the government, and pushing innovation and discovery, I think that can lead to a tremendous growth. So we're quite bullish going forward that if what got us here was very good, what can get us to 2047 could be tremendously large in terms of our growth aspirations.
Right. India actually has a position of serving a lot of third world countries, and that also comes with a lot of responsibility of keeping the prices low. And of course, India itself needs to be served with low cost medicines. And so, my next will be to you, Aman. There has been a string of deals so far as Torrent is concerned, and that also came at regular intervals. I think you've been doing deals which have really suited you well and given you the complementarity. But having said that, do you think there is a lot of crowding in the segment, and that probably also has restricted you in terms of looking outward in terms of innovation, because there is always a pressure of shareholder value.
I think definitely the competitive intensity has gone up. The barriers to entry have come down, but the market continues to grow. So I think companies do find their own ways and places to grow even in a crowded market. So I don't think that's an issue. We have actually had a long history of discovery as Torrent, almost 20 years. I think the first kind of NC project that we started was back in the late 90s. So, and I think we had to unfortunately wind it down just a couple of years ago. So our effort was very long, but no fruitful results,
Exactly.
unfortunately. So we're now just kind of recalibrating our thought process. We're trying to understand where did we go wrong,
Right.
what can we do once again if we start, which I think we will at some point. But right now, again, the focus is on the integration that's up ahead, and hopefully once that's done smoothly, we will focus on innovation as well.
Sure. Right. So, yeah, I mean, again, I'll keep coming back to the same question of innovation. And Namita, you actually nurtured so many companies when you really do your, kind of checking and really vetting and what exactly will work. That kind of an approach has been missing from the pharma industry, excepting for a few. In fact, the results are flowing for Wokhart and those who have actually betted on drugs which have been there in the making for 25 years. So, do you think there is a issue with the approach that has been taken so far over the last 25, 30 years, that your flexibility to really invest in innovative research, as Aman also mentioned, of re-examining where things may have gone wrong? Do you think that is something that needs to be really revived and ramped up?
I think pharma is a beacon and a shining example of entrepreneurship in our country. I mean, at MQ, we've done the mRNA vaccine. We were the third in the world. Fine,
Yes.
COVID went,
Yes.
but it's being used. That technology is being used for so many important conditions going forward.
Right.
So I think there is a fair bit of innovation, a lot of innovation. Can it be better? There's always a scope for improvement. There's always a lot that can be done. And rare diseases is, one thing you said. A friend of mine, her daughter
Right.
had SMA, spinal muscular atrophy.
Yeah.
It needs one injection, that's 14 crores.
Yes.
Right? Now,
Brilliant.
things like that, obviously, there is a lot of scope we can work on. But then there's a
Yes.
900 crore rare disease fund
Right.
that the government has, but not a penny has been disbursed because it's stuck in the
The
court.
Delhi High Court.
So I think there's a lot of stuff that can happen in the country,
Right.
no doubt about it. But
Right.
you cannot take away credit from pharma in terms of entrepreneurship,
No.
risk taking, and
Absolutely.
the kind of innovation that we have given.
Oh, yeah. So, absolutely. And at the outset, I said that, the
Yes.
global industry is also looking for innovation from India, and how generics have actually helped a number of countries. So, that's a huge responsibility to balance. So, Sharvil, so you have seen a lot from a wide angle. What do you think was missing so far?
I would say we as a country, if we really need to thrive and build an ecosystem for discovery and innovation, I think we need to do multiple things. And maybe we need to learn from what's happening in the West, what's happening around us in our neighborhood. We have to create a comprehensive network of infrastructure that is required. We need to help the regulators to think about how do we transform from just being a generic regulator towards being a regulator that looks at discovery and taking risk. The second is obviously the partnership that we require between academia, between government institutes and industry. I think that has to be built over a period of years to see if we can have research come from different academia to companies. And the third important thing is, creating a venture fund capability or investment fund capability in India. A lot of times when I interact with, I'm happy you said, what are you investing? A lot of the time people say, what is the cost of research, or what are you spending on research? So most of the time people look at research as a spend and not as an investment. And until that kind of thinking changes, money will not flow into research as easily.
Absolutely.
Things have changed a lot. I would say the pace of change is vibrant. India, as companies are starting to do some of these things, and that is important for us. But I think we need a comprehensive look at how we make changes to both the regulations, the the policies of the government, where they want to, take risk and create a venture kind of fund that can be created to kickstart innovation, and use technology, AI, all these capabilities now to speed up this capability. So I think it will happen for us. We started off obviously like a generics company, but industry. But I can see that in the next, at least by 2047, we have an aspiration as industry to have 100 drugs
Yes.
as new discovered, or meeting unmet needs. So I think that is the ambition, bold ambition that IPA has taken, the industry has taken, and so we are all sort of working to see how do we collaborate with the government and see how we can make that happen.
So that was also one of my questions. I mean, that's a very, very courageous step to say 100 NCs by 20. Yeah, this is the ambition that you would like to see, to really take that transformative step. And specific to Zydus, you've been thinking ahead of the curve for sure and a lot of adventures also. Vaccines, CDMOs, consumers. You took a bold step of taking up the Complan brands. So with those so many risk that you have taken, do you think you've really been able to scale to the level that you would have wanted?
What we believe is that we should play in a larger ecosystem which has diagnostics, which has pharmaceuticals, which has care, which has treatment protocols, and which has a more connected ecosystem that one needs to create. And if you do that, I think you can see better outcomes for patients. The second is obviously we love technology. So we invested in biologics and vaccines, and we're very happy with that investment. Today, we can proudly say that we have the largest number of biologics on market, 13 plus molecules and biosimilars. We have probably the largest biosimilar brands in India now. And we're also going outside India in terms of creating access for these drugs. I think same in vaccines. We have now at least 2 drugs pre-qualified by WHO, and probably 2 more in the future. So I think it takes time to build platforms. It's not easy to build platforms. And for us, it has taken anywhere between 8 to 10 years to build a platform. And that's what we are pushing to build. But the diversification is very essential for us because we believe that we need to play in a larger ecosystem. We also want to diversify to reduce risk. So both, whether it's a geographical risk or a business risk, I think it's important to do so. And we are only playing in a smart adjacency. So we are not completely venturing in out of the world kind of stuff.
Right.
We are doing things that we believe caters to the same kind of customers also. So I think all of that is more thought through, I would say. But yeah, we have been diversified to that extent.
The Amplitude deal looked a little different from a normal deal that a pharma company will do on the devices side. That was a very big difference to what Zydus has been doing.
So
That also you will categorize as the adjacency.
yeah, so I think India has a very buoyant medical devices opportunity. China obviously has taken an important step there. If you look at what we have done in pharmaceuticals, I think that same opportunity exists in the med devices side, and it is a sunrise sector that's already been identified by the government of India. I think we got very excited with Amplitude. It sort of has similar things to our DNA. Is highly technology oriented business that is there. We see a strong market share in a market that they are present in, and our view has been that on going forward, what we like to do is global first. So we don't want to say let's build India, then let's build the world. We want to sort of say we'll go to the world, we'll take India to the world, or bring those products from there to India.
So on the policy front, Aman, there is a lot of positive movement which is being seen from the government also. There was a PLI scheme which actually propped up a lot of bulk drug industry. Now there is talk about innovation fund also, the PRIP fund as they call it. How do you think these things will really help companies like yours?
I think the PLI schemes have been very, very advantageous. One, to ensure continuity of supply, and second, to build more robust supply chains. So it's definitely a lot of great thought and work that's gone into it. The most recent announcement of the research scheme of 1 lakh crore, I think,
Yes.
we are most excited to see the details about that. We believe pharma and biotech should have a significant role in that, and I think the much awaited risk capital that's been kind of either not adequate or missing to a degree that it should have been, that should start coming in, and this has a real game changing potential, the research scheme. So to the goal of 2047, it will be a pretty big catalyst.
Right. It's a very encouraging point. Your dependence on the US has been much lesser than what all the top leading companies have been. Do you think that probably has saved you from a lot of problems that could have been faced, or do you think you really want to take a big leap there? Because there has been situations where companies have said that this is getting too difficult for us to handle, so we'd like to see the market minus the US, or probably lesser dependence on the US.
No, I think as a short-term kind of benefit, certainly it helped us, but long-term, I don't think so. We had to do what we had to do for various reasons. This is about 5-7 years ago. It was a strategic call, but that is probably now kind of, those times are behind us. We believe that there is still a lot more that we can do in the US, and we should do in the US, because the opportunity does still kind of keep presenting itself. So yeah, I would feel that maybe for the time that it was decided, we felt it was okay, but going forward, we will definitely try to change that.
So you will really look at the US
At a larger presence in the US, which will obviously require some kind of appropriate investment as well over time. Nothing kind of immediate.
Right. Cool. Namita, to you, you've been advocating greater responsibilities to women, a bigger role in leadership. It has been up to your expectations. Do you think things are changing?
It's absolutely not
Okay.
anywhere close to my expectations, and it's absolutely not changing at the pace it should be. But I'm an optimist, so we have to keep doing what we can. The reality is that there are two aspects to it, right? So one is the representation of the workforce, very dismal, very poor. A lot needs to be changed. I'm sitting here discussing women's health portfolio, and I'm discussing menopause and PCOS, and there's not a single woman in the room. How are you going to come up with the right communication, right? What stigmas you need to be broken if you don't have that perspective in the room? So it is to our benefit if we have that diversity, but then a lot of policy changes need to be made in the in the recruitment structure, in the work structure, and all of that. The second part, so one is the recruitment part, second is the women's health. So for several years now, World Economic Forum does a study with 155 countries,
Right.
and India always ranks bottom 2 in women's health. And that hasn't changed. Nothing's changed in the last several years. Why are we in the bottom 2? Why do we not prioritize women's health? Why isn't that level of awareness and patient centricity happening for women? So I think both areas, both from a representation at the workforce, as well as women taking more accountability and prioritizing their health,
Sure.
very, very poor. And so it's definitely not even close to where it needs to be.
Put the whole
Because
thing
I've been
together.
doing a podcast for 4.5 years,
Yeah.
and so many patients who we get on the podcast, a night before the podcast cancel on me. They get cold feet and they don't want to come and speak about their
Yeah,
journey. So
happens.
that's a level of silence. If we don't break that, we're not going to get very far.
True, very true. It's a fantastic initiative. And we are all very familiar with your podcast on women's health.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
So the quintessential question about China, which I can't leave because it's been 20-25 years of constant tug of war, who is ahead and who is not. Now the contours are very well defined. Global companies are actually rushing to them. Small companies, they started probably around the same level at the same time 20 years ago. Now they are much ahead. What changed?
I think what have worked for China is obviously the very critical role that the government played in terms of identifying the need to build a future in terms of going beyond the APIs and generics. I think they leapfrogged ahead in terms of that. So when you talk about peptide, when you talk about biologicals, when you talk about ADCs, I think they put significant investment both in academia, which also propelled R&D and research, and also they created a huge venture fund, first backed by the government, and then obviously more participation happened and created a thriving ecosystem. They created great reimbursement models for these drugs to be approved and sold in the
Yes.
country with stable pricing that could help fuel innovation. And so that Chinese market also grew tremendously. And today, if you say there's one PD1 or two PD1s globally, they have 20 PD1s, so
Absolutely.
11 PD1s launched already. So I think they have done very well when it comes to some of these things, and they have sort of moved towards the more discovery side of it beyond just doing the generic side of it, and they build an ecosystem to do so. So when I look at that, I don't think that is what's happening in China. I get excited that if
We
some
do
of
it.
this we can even do it better, faster, quicker, and create an impact. Because if you say generics, we are undisputed leaders in this field, and so there is a rite of passage for us to also create this when it comes to discovery and all of these areas. But we need everything. As we need regulation, we need a better stable pricing, we need an Indian market that is accessible so that innovation can thrive. And then obviously, as I always say, funding is necessary for taking risk.
So, Nabita, what are the two most important things you have taken from your father?
Even at 74, he's one of the most driven people I've met. And I think that's a lot like me. I'm a little too driven. And second is attention to detail. You need to have that depth. So I think these are the two things I've taken from him.
Sure.
So, for me, I think the biggest thing I saw is in 95 when we split as a company. He came up with this line saying, we build people to build a business. And I think that has been true to his sort of way of doing things. And he's really empowered people in the organization. That's what I always look up to. Beyond that, I think is execution. I mean, he's a relentless person when it comes to execution. And I think that's something that I try, but I don't think I can sort of hit his kind of benchmark.
What are the things that you would not like to take forward from your father?
So I think he really didn't kind of take any time off till he was maybe almost 50. So it was work home. So obviously we got a lot of time with him, but we don't think he got a lot of time off. Right? So I think he sacrificed a lot. So maybe I would try to avoid that. So I think I'm already avoiding it. So
Yeah, sure. Which is good. Yeah. And one more.
One more. Again, the multiple businesses, it's tough. I can see how much work it takes to focus on one business.
Yeah.
So I would want to, at least for the near term, focus on one sector rather than kind of many sectors, because at least that gives a lot more bandwidth within one company. So yeah.
Sure. Namit.
So I get grief from him for two things, which I actually think I want to do it my way. One is maybe because of working in the US for several years before joining MQ. I think dissent is very important. Like you said, speaking up.
Yes.
And sometimes taking a very contrarian view and being bold about it is important. He's a lot more tactful and always tells me that I'm a little too direct at times.
Yeah.
But I like it, so I'm not going to change. The second part is that, for him, it's always like you are committed only if you do MQ 24/7. Like anything you do outside of MQ is like almost like a sense of betrayal. And I've done a lot of things outside MQ, whether it's my entrepreneurship academy, my health podcast, Shark Tank. And I feel that actually makes you a stronger leader at MQ. So we butt heads on these kind of leadership philosophies. But overall, all good.
Perfect. Right. Sure.
So, I think one thing I would need to change in the way he was doing things is obviously he's he didn't take care of his health as much as maybe he should have, and I sort of learned from that to say, this is important that while one works, one also thinks about oneself and sort of manages self better. I think, though he's very healthy and very happy and that, but I think in this world and this stress, I don't think I can sort of copy the same way as what he did. I think beyond that, I wouldn't say there's anything that I would not take back from that point of view, but I think he has I think I have he has less patience than I do, and so I'm more patient. I would say, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but I think that's the way I would go.
Right.
Yeah.
So once I called him and he was in a jungle safari, and it was really nice to see him there. So
No, he loves his
fantastic
trips.
Yeah.
sense of humor.
Yeah.
One of the best
Oh, yeah?
sense of humor I've come
Okay.
across.
But
Yeah.
that I should take.
Definitely. Sure. So this time I'll flip to you,
Sure.
so that you don't get time to think. What management style would you prefer to follow? Continuity or disruptive?
I don't think in my company either or can work. I think for businesses that are stable, obviously continuity is what matters. But I think anything new you want to do, you have to be a little bit disruptive, I would say. But so I wouldn't say either or is the right answer for my organization. I think what you get energy from is disruptive stuff, doing things which are new and different. But as a company, we need to work on both.
Right.
I think it will have to be disruptive because I mainly look at the India business and it's the same 5,000 reps going and saying Dr. Saab, and then there are 20 reps outside and you don't know which one is a Zydus or the Torrentin
Very
and Emcure,
true.
and it's crazy. It just seems so primitive, right? So I think unless we don't put a little FMCG tadka and a little startup flavor to the way our reps talk and to the way we engage doctors, a little bit of technology, it's just, I think there needs to be disruption.
Disruption is definitely happening at Torrent.
In a way, yeah, but if you really think about it, it's continuity.
Right.
So we would kind of look at it as continuing what's good and disrupting what's not there. So I don't think we've done much of that in a meaningful way so far. But if the conviction is high and the potential of the benefits are large enough, then disruption could be an option. But by and large, continuity is what we would follow. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So there is a different opinion here. Okay. So Namita, to you now.
Oh.
Yeah. Your favorite management leader?
Oh God. So I'm going to give you a few. I really look up to Sanjeev Bikhchandani, legend in the startup world with the kind of investments he's made. In Pune, Rajiv Bajaj, he's tripled the market cap through exports, premiumization, and now EV. And then, of course, there's the feisty Kiran Shaw and the ever so humble Mr. Harsh Mariwala. So the four I really look up to.
I don't have so many answers like that. But I mean, for me, I always said this. For me, it has always been my father and the legacy that he has built. I think that what inspires me and sort of I take from. And I think it's not just work, it's how do you also be a good human being. I think that's important, and that's what sort of always makes me feel proud of him.
So, most definitely, as personal mentors, my father and uncle are, kind of unmatched to anyone else. But for someone who maybe I haven't met, I would probably say Warren Buffett is definitely up there. Simply because he has 500 hours of his wisdom online, right? And practically any subject, any industry in the world, he's spoken about over the last 30 years. So, and you can relate to most of it even today and apply it to your business or your problems. So, I think, I would definitely say he's been a great guide who I've never met.
Right. The last one, again to you, Amit. One big moment and one big moment that has not gone well.
One big moment.
If it is not what it has happened now.
In the recent past, I would say maybe the Curatio deal. That was something that was a pretty big moment. Having seen it from start to end, and then fructifying into something that we didn't really expect to happen in that kind of a scale. That was a pretty big and kind of satisfying moment. A lot of bad moments also. Not sure which one I would specifically feel right now would be kind of the worst, but I think one moment that always stands out is the day when my uncle chose to formally retire from the board. Though we knew he was always going to be around, it was kind of was a very sad day for everyone, and that still is a memory that is the only negative memory I would say I have today. So,
Right. That's very candid. Yeah. So, Amita.
I think the good moment has been that I've always got to be an entrepreneur within MTO. So I started off as CFO.
Yeah.
Then I took over the India business, which was completely new. And now I'm doing Earth, our supplements,
Right.
which is a consumer brand. So it's nice to be able to do different things and startup ventures within a legacy company. So I've really enjoyed that. Bad, my problem, Vikas, is I'm a little too much of an optimist. So I forget the bad moments. So then I just look at it as I've already learned what I need to learn and I don't like to talk about it.
Good one. Yeah. Sure.
I think the moment is yet to come, though we have had very important achievements. 95, my father said by 2020 we'll be a research-based pharmaceutical company. And I think for that to happen, we need a global research molecule launched by Zydus. So I'm waiting for that moment. It may come soon, it may come in a few years, but that's what will be that sort of thing that we are all looking forward to. I would say something sort of to leave behind. I think, our founder chairman was obviously a very strong believer in science and R&D, and he passed away too soon. And I think if he was there a little longer, I think he would have added a lot of value to both the company as well as us. So I think we miss her.
Right. And credit to Pankaj Bhai that he's actually put all his efforts on that one molecule and is still adding up. And, it's been 20 years now? 25 years.
Yeah.
Hats off.
So, Namita, 25 years of IPA, it's been a terrific journey. The way the industry has been transformed, the voice of the industry to the policymakers. How do you sum it up?
So you yourself mentioned that unlike IT, we're not vocal enough and that gets perceived as we're not doing enough. So I think under Sudarshan Jain sir's leadership, he's done an outstanding job. After the 25 years just got done, he's come up with a slew of initiatives which will be releasing very shortly. There's a beautiful coffee table book on the history of the pharma industry. There is going to be a website with a lot of interviews and very exciting archives, which you will really enjoy. And then with IIM Ahmedabad, we've teamed up to write a book. So all these will be getting released in the next few months, and it will truly give a voice to all the enormous work that's being done by the Indian pharma industry.
So I think the 25-year celebration it's a great moment, a proud moment for the industry to reflect on what we've all achieved with the great support of the IPA. But it's also a moment to just pause and think, where do we go for the next 25? And a lot of the book will talk about that vision as well. That the vision now is to move up the value chain. All companies are very excited and geared for it, and I would say it's more of celebration of the past, but also equally looking to the future.
Sure. Thank you so much, and may the industry grow and get bigger and better and more relevant to the Indian population and go capture the world. So thank you so much. This is exactly what we had wanted to have from the three of you. Thank you for your presence for the ET Morning Brief. That's a wrap. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.